In the middle of the arid Gobi Desert, near the modern village of Zilizai, sits a Roman temple. The architecture is striking, but so are some of the people who live near it. Among the local Han Chinese population, you will occasionally see residents with light hair, fair skin, and pale green eyes. Just outside the village lie the remains of ancient rammed earth walls. These ruins belong to a frontier outpost, an old county known as Liqian. The combination of European physical traits and these remote fortifications led to a highly specific question: did a lost legion of the Roman Republic fight its way deep into ancient China? That single proposition took a quiet, eroded stretch of the Heshi corridor and turned it into the center of an enduring military mystery. In the 1950s, an Oxford sinologist named Homer Dubbs published a theory. He proposed that the ancestors of the Zilizai villagers were captured Roman soldiers who had been resettled as border guards. This requires charting a migration of 4,000 miles from the Mediterranean Sea, across Central Asia, to the edges of the Gobi. It posits a direct military collision between the two dominant ancient superpowers, the Roman Republic and Han China. To make his case, Dubbs attempted to reverse engineer a single continuous military campaign that spanned 2 decades, crossed 2 continents, and involved 3 separate empires. The timeline begins in 53 BC at the Battle of Carrhae in modern-day Turkey. The Roman commander, Marcus Licinius Crassus, led his forces into a devastating defeat against the Parthian Empire. Following the slaughter, the Parthians captured around 10,000 Roman soldiers. To prevent an uprising, they subjected the prisoners to a forced march, relocating them to defend their eastern frontier in what is now Turkmenistan. 17 years later, in 36 BC, a Han Chinese expeditionary force marched on a fortified city along the Talas River during the Battle of Jiji. The Han records note that the fortress was defended by foreign mercenaries using a peculiar tactic, an array of interlocking shields that the Chinese described as a fish-scale formation. Dubbs argued that this description perfectly matched the famous Roman testudo, or tortoise formation. In this scenario, the Roman survivors were captured at Carrhae, marched east, fought as mercenaries at Jiji, and were finally captured again by the Han and resettled at Liqian. The narrative is compelling. But when historians subject the military and administrative records to closer scrutiny, the evidence falls apart. The fish-scale formation was actually an established ancient Chinese offensive tactic dating back to 707 BC, distinct from the defensive, static box of a Roman testudo. It consisted of groups of 5 infantrymen trailing behind chariots in an overlapping wedge, designed specifically for rapid forward movement to penetrate enemy lines. The timeline presents an even larger problem in the Han administrative records for the region. The county of Liqian was established by Emperor Wu in 104 BC. That is 51 years before the Battle of Carrhae took place. Since the settlement was fully functioning half a century before Crassus lost his army, it could not have been built to house his captured legionaries. That leaves the biological anomalies, the green eyes and light hair found among the modern villagers of Zilizai. Between 2005 and 2007, researchers from Lanzhou University conducted comprehensive DNA testing on the local population. The genetic markers showed no specific evidence of a distinct Roman paternal lineage. Instead, the Caucasian features are the result of thousands of years of standard migrations, trade, and intermarriage with Central Asian nomadic groups. The villagers are a living record of the Silk Road's deep history as a vast cultural intersection, rather than the isolated descendants of a misplaced infantry unit. A Roman army never fought in China, but the two empires were connected through commerce. Luxury goods like silk and Roman glass slowly filtered across this unforgiving terrain through a massive, decentralized network of local merchants. The first documented direct contact didn't occur until 166 AD, when a small diplomatic and merchant embassy arrived in China claiming to represent the Roman Emperor Antoninus Pius. The actual relationship between the ancient world's two largest economies was built on a fragile, slow-moving chain of exchange. Yet in the modern village of Zilizai, the local government has officially renamed the town to Liqian to capitalize on the Roman connection. Homer Dub's theory failed the tests of chronology and genetics, but the narrative was so compelling that it escaped academia and physically altered the landscape. Today, the region features statues, a thriving tourism economy, and a fabricated Roman city, willed into existence by the sheer appeal of the story. Sometimes the historical landscape is shaped by the tactical battles that actually happened. Other times, it is shaped entirely by the legends we choose to believe.